brace yourselves, boys. Some of these posters are really difficult to look at. But look at them we must. Here we go. I don't know what this art style is, and I use the phrase art style very, very loosely. Oh well, where to start here? Well, it's for Halloween Havoc 1990, although it took me about 3 seconds to actually work that out, because that typeface really blends in with the background, doesn't it? Obviously the phrase "keep it simple, stupid" hadn't been coined yet, because this is crowded, and even as a wrestling fan of 30 years I had to take some time to work out who all of these people actually are. Sting, Arn and Rick are all really obvious, but is that supposed to be Sid laying on the bed? And please enlighten me on who that's supposed to be standing up beside him. Any ideas, guys? I have no clue who that's supposed to be. In Your House, Bad Blood from 1997 next, and there's old Undertaker holding his own head. No idea what that's all about. If this was a poster for SummerSlam 94 and The Undertaker versus The Underfaker match, it would almost make sense, but it wasn't. The main event was the Hell in a Cell match between The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. Again, guys, if I'm missing something here, then do let me know down in the comments. Why is The Undertaker holding his own head in this poster? Look at this mess. It's like WCW insisted that their wrestlers were almost unidentifiable to anybody looking at the poster. Way to sell pay-per-views, guys. Then again, this was the show that featured such fun as G.I. Bro versus Sean Stasiak and Ric Flair versus David Flair on the card. So, you know, forget the poster, the show obviously sold itself. This is the Great American Bash 2000, and they've had to label each of these cartoon effigies of the wrestlers just so we can identify them. What's lamer than the DX reunion of the year 2006? This poster for SummerSlam featuring the DX reunion of 2006. Yep, sausages are funny because they can be confused by penises by two grown-ass men pretending to be teenagers. What a load of rubbish. I mean, at least the poster gets the actual wrestlers on the page, which can't be said about this poster for Spring Stampede 1998. The biggest, the baddest, no bull, says the strapline. We all know the bull in WCW would come in 1999. Considering that this was at the very peak of WCW's powers in April 1998, the show only drew 7,428 fans. The poster can't have helped get the fans through the door, can it? Guess who I didn't want to watch on pay-per-view in 2011? Yes, that's right, it's Big Knobhead and Little Knobhead here. I've always utterly despised the Big Show in all of his forms, and Hornswoggle can f*** off too, quite frankly. I always think that the superstars of any wrestling company are what the people pay their money to come and see. So why not put one of your hottest prospects on your pay-per-view poster, but just have him facing away from the camera? What's that all about? The late 90s and the early 2000s really were a difficult time for WCW, weren't they? Missteps were being taken in every aspect of the product, from the pay-per-view posters outwards. It's wrestling's most annoying here, Buff Bagwell, pouting his lips in the least menacing way possible. He wouldn't look out of place on the front cover of a Gay Times magazine. That poster must have been through a dozen hands before it was approved for publishing. It is mad that nobody pointed out that Bagwell is a twat and nobody will buy the show based off this poster alone. From one pout to another as Triple H leans wistfully on his hammer in order to promote Vengeance 2001, because nothing screams vengeance more than an artful black and white photo of Hunter and his favourite weapon. Anyway, the joke's on you, because Hunter wasn't even on the show. Not sure what he was doing instead, probably crying himself to sleep, if that look on his face is anything to go by. Now, don't get it twisted, I obviously will always have a special place in my heart for Heenan and Okerlund, but they are not going to move the needle when it comes to the buy rate for your pay-per-view. If I'm being honest, a real-life barbecue with Gene and Bobby would have been interesting to say the least, So the scenario is certainly interesting, but am I being sold on the Giant versus Lex Luger? No, I'm not. And nothing could sell me on that, to be fair. Bray Wyatt here, showing off his flexibility. One of those posters that just screams wrestling, a man doing the crab walk. Christ, when Wyatt was in his lamest, he was extremely lame, wasn't he? What the hell has this primate got to do with Halloween Havoc for a starter? By the time this came out in 1999, the wheels had pretty much fallen off the product almost entirely, and it's interesting to see that reflected by the marketing department, who had surely realised by this point that WCW would approve any old shit they came up with for the poster design. Utter nonsense. Now that Jon Moxley has settled in AEW, he seems so much better off, but you might be left wondering why he wanted to leave WWE in the first place. Being made to look like a twat on pay-per-view posters like this probably didn't help. Why Hunter and Mox are screaming at each other when they're standing so close to each other, I have no idea. I love the question, can you break through on that sign as well? No, WWE, I can't, because I'm not a wrestler on your roster. So those posters all suck. If you have any suggestions for crap wrestling posters that I haven't mentioned here, then let me know, because I would imagine there's quite a few of them out there, to be honest.